Real quick spur of the moment project here today. Going to be throwing together a 5th wheel hitch pin puller. I'm going to start out by bending a hook in the end of this number 3 or 3/8 rebar. Okay, here's my hook, and we'll just cut off the excess that we don't need. It's got to be a little bit longer like that to be able to get it through the bender. I'm going to butt the inside of this hook here, and I'm going to mark 33 inches. That'll make my hook 32 from the outside of the handle. This scrap piece of pipe right here is going to be my handle. I'm going to get whatever this is cut off of here and get this thing cleaned up. I'm just taking a cut-off wheel here with my angle grinder and going to cut this thing down to size, and then I'm going to trim the hook down to the length that I want. Now I'm going to get this little piece cut off of this pipe. I don't throw any scrap metal away. All right, let's do some deburring with the flap disc. Before I cleaned this piece of pipe up, I decided it was just a little bit too long, so I'm going to shorten it up with a cutoff wheel. Now I'm going to take my flap disc and knock the paint and the rest of that weld bead left over from that piece that I cut off. And right here, I'm just going to knock the burrs off of each end of the piece of pipe. I had about 2 minutes of footage of cleaning this up. Got pretty boring, so just a couple of short clips here. I don't always completely clean every scrap project that I make, but on this one, I just decided to clean this handle completely up just because I had to do so much grinding on that weld bead that was left over. So I stepped up my drill bits 3 different times to get a 3/8 hole, and I ended up taking a flap disc and just shaving the rebar down a little bit because my drill bits go from a 3/8 to a half, and I didn't want a 1/2 inch hole, and I didn't feel like using a unibit. It was just easier for me to shave it down a little bit. Right here, I'm just taking a carbide burr, and I'm just going to make sure there's nothing inside this piece of pipe that's going to cut my finger. For today's project, I'm going to be doing some flux core welding. I'm going to do a little plug weld on the end here. I don't know if you noticed when I was drilling the holes, but I actually made 2 holes. That way I could weld this piece of rebar to both sides of the handle, because some of those 5th wheels are pretty tough to pull, and I just want to make sure with, snatching on it over and over and over, I don't break the hook loose. Because flux core has so much slag and it's so dirty, and I didn't set myself up good to weld all the way around this, and I'm trying to record, and I'm just going to weld a little bit and then take the wire wheel and clean it and then weld a little bit more and just keep doing that and work my way around this piece of rebar. Here it is. This is just flux core. There's my plug weld. I'm gonna hit it with a flap wheel. I don't even know if I'm gonna paint this. Maybe. Probably gonna end up losing it. What I'm thinking about doing is making an R and an M for my initials, and maybe putting it up here somewhere. I've said it before in some other flux core videos, but you'll notice I don't have a nozzle on here because this is flux core, and flux core doesn't use gas unless it's dual shield, which this is not. So no gas, I don't need the nozzle. I never even put it on this machine because all I do with this machine is flux core. Check it out. My fifth wheel hitch pin puller is complete. I didn't even plan on making this thing today, and here we go. Another project completed. I could have spent a lot more time on these letters, but this was just a quick, dirty flux core project. It's got a little porosity in it. The letters are, not perfect, but it is what it is. This thing is really going to help me out. Let me know what you think. I'll catch you on the next one.